It was a stormy night. Jake, a weary traveler on a business trip, arrived at a small old hotel on the outskirts of town. He just needed a place to rest for the night, but the moment he stepped through the fogged-up glass doors, an uneasy feeling crept up his spine. The receptionist, an elderly woman with sunken eyes, greeted him with a faint, almost forced smile. "Room 404, but sir, if anything unusual happens, please let me know." Jake frowned slightly. The warning sounded strange, but he was too tired to care. Taking the key, he silently made his way to the elevator. The hallway on the 4th floor was eerily quiet. The dim yellow lights flickered, making the atmosphere even more unsettling. Jake glanced at the room numbers as he walked. 402, 406, no, 404. He stopped, confused. But then, out of nowhere, a door appeared between two rooms. A worn-out plaque with the number 404 hung loosely on it. His heartbeat quickened. Still, he inserted the key into the lock. The moment he pushed the door open, a foul stench hit him, making him gag. Inside, the room was small and outdated. Dust-covered furniture, a single bed, an old armchair, and a large mirror directly across from the bed. Everything was coated in a thin layer of dust, as if no one had stayed there for years. "What the hell is that smell?" Jake muttered, waving a hand in front of his nose. He set his luggage down and pulled out his phone. No service, no signal. Suddenly, an icy breath brushed against the back of his neck. Jake shivered and spun around, but there was nothing there. Then, the mirror across the room fogged up as if someone had breathed onto it. And within seconds, 3 words appeared on the glass. "Get out now." A cold shiver ran down his spine, but he shook his head. "Probably just some stupid prank," he muttered. Too exhausted to think, he decided to ignore it and lay down. 03, Sir, AM. A faint scratching sound woke him up. It was coming from inside the closet. Jake held his breath, listening. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound was soft but distinct, like fingernails dragging across wood. Swallowing hard, he got up and slowly walked toward the closet. His fingers trembled as he gripped the handle, took a deep breath, and yanked it open. Nothing. But the moment he turned away, the door slammed shut by itself. The bedside lamp flickered and went out. Then, his phone screen suddenly lit up, displaying an unknown voicemail. His hands shook as he pressed play. A distorted voice whispered through the speaker. "Why are you still here?" His heartbeat pounded in his chest. He bolted for the door, twisting the knob, but it wouldn't budge. In the mirror, a shadowy figure stood right behind him. "You're in my room now." Jake whirled around. Nothing was there. Panic surged through him as he banged on the door. Bam, bam, bam. No response. Suddenly, the entire room shook violently. The bed, the chair, the closet. Everything rattled as if an earthquake had struck. Laughter, low, raspy, and chilling, echoed from all directions. Then, the mirror began to ripple like water. Jake froze as he saw his reflection, but it wasn't mimicking his movements. It wasn't him. The figure in the mirror grinned, a twisted, unnatural smile. And then, it stepped out of the glass. Jake screamed. The next morning, the receptionist heard heavy footsteps descending the stairs. She looked up and gasped. Jake stood there, pale and shaking, his clothes covered in dust as if He had just crawled out of an abandoned building, her face drained of color. "Sir, where did you come from?" Jake stammered. "From room 404. The receptionist took a step back, eyes wide. "Sir, this hotel doesn't have a room 404. Jake spun around. The hallway behind him was empty. No doors, no rooms. His stomach dropped. How could that be? He was just there. But then, his eyes landed on an old guest book sitting on the counter. The ink on the first page looked fresh, as if someone had just written it. It was a list of past guests from room 404, and at the top of the list was his name. The ink was still wet. A cold breath ghosted over his neck. A whisper, barely audible, sent a chill down his spine. "Welcome back." Screen fades to black.